Alright, hello everybody, and have I got a really great piece of news for you. Bethesda Studios is at it again. That is Xbox's in-house game development studio, responsible for such great releases like Forza and Forza Horizon. They build a lot of Xbox's big titles. Well, guess what? Apparently, very silently, over the years, they've been cooking up something to really take us all by surprise. Have you guys been wondering what's the point of the Series X? I see this everywhere. People are like, yeah, it's a little faster. It's got all these great graphics. Who cares? There's nothing to take advantage of it. Well, that's ridiculous on a number of levels. But finally, I have a legitimate answer to tell you. What's the point of the Series X? The point is Starfield. Let's talk about it. It's a game that's coming out, we expect, in April of 2023, next year, respectively. And I gotta tell you, it's really like nothing else I've ever seen. It's a space sci-fi exploration game. I don't really know much about the story because I looked all over, but Microsoft has been very tight-lipped about that. As best as I can tell, it revolves around a war in the galaxy between four major trading coalitions or factions. So that's interesting. The whole galaxy is run by trade, by just the trade coalitions. There's no government, there's no king or emperor. Trade coalitions run everything, and they're all constantly at war with each other, all kind of trying to top one another. And right from the beginning of the game, you can pick whichever four you want to fight for, be a part of. That's pretty neat. So I know what you're thinking. What's the really big deal? I mean, we've seen this 100 times before. What's the big deal about Starfield? Because if you type it in, guys, it pulls up stuff from everywhere. This is getting massive attention. Well, if you really want to know, just look at it. And it looks like nothing I've really ever seen before. Like, it looks ridiculously realistic. And I like that. I've never seen a game that uses lighting and shadowing so well. I like that. Most importantly is this is the first game I've ever seen in a while where the game is not playing you. This is a kind of a complaint I have, is that I feel like a lot of modern day games, with a few exceptions, I feel like the game's playing you. You're just doing whatever the game tells you to do, and then you hit the end and that's it. Finally, Bethesda Studios is putting the power back in your hands. You are playing the game, so you can decide what do you want to do. Would you rather fly as an officer and work for your trade coalition and work your way up the ranks? Or maybe you'd rather go through the story as a bounty hunter. You're just on your own, you don't work for any of them, and you just work by collecting bounties and hunting down the worst of criminals. There's actually several different ways to play the story, and according to Bethesda Studios, depending on which path you choose, it'll give you a different experience. Let me translate that for you. It means you can replay this game about 5 or 6 times and get a completely different experience. Something very similar happened to a very old game called Knights of the Old Republic. I play that a lot. It's an old Star Wars game, and it did the same thing. Okay, I could choose whatever I wanted to do early in the game, and depending on which path I chose, it gives me a completely different experience every time I play it. So it's really neat. I love seeing that. Like, I remember playing it and wondering, why don't games do this today? Well, that's what Starfield does. I know. Who really cares? Okay, better. Okay, neat in-depth story, great graphics. What else? Okay, you want to know what else? How does exploring 1,000 plus planets sound to you? Yes, for those of you in the back, let me repeat that. 1,000 plus planets. That's pretty neat. And I know what you're thinking. You don't believe me. That's okay. I wouldn't believe me either if I hadn't read it. I've read it. I double-checked it. I triple-checked it. It's not a typo. I'm not making this up. There's over 1,000 planets in this game. If you're wondering how that's even possible, very simple. Computer generation. Computer generation has gotten so good and enables developers to do things they never could do before. So in other words, if you just put in a few queries, basically, if you just put in a few key things that you want, I mean, the tech behind it's really deep, and I can't really explain it fully here. It'd actually take a whole series of videos. But here's the simplified version. You just tell the computer basically the qualities you want, and it will automatically build the planet based on what you've done. So basically, you build it kind of a template, and it'll work from there. So in other words, the computer did most of the work. The developers didn't actually have to sit around and actually individually code 1,000 planets because, they have lives to live. I mean, they got to eat lunch and stuff and go home and just chill out too. So it's pretty neat. I don't know really why we need 1,000 plants in a game, because I gotta tell you, I would never even bother trying to explore all those. But dang it, it's neat. I've never, ever even heard of anything like that. That is impressive. Again, the graphics are phenomenal. I really like the way the story goes. Some of the combat looks great. Now, I didn't get to see too much of that because Bethesda doesn't want to give everything out just yet. But I was able to see very short clips of some of the dogfights, and it is nuts. I mean, we're talking Top Gun in space. That's all I can say. I'm serious. It's like watching Top Gun in space, if you can imagine that. So many neat things. But most importantly, Starfield represents the next chapter for Microsoft, because I gotta tell you, Microsoft doesn't have a whole lot of titles to its name. So when you buy the PlayStation, guys, you get Uncharted, you get Spider-Man, you get The Last of Us, you get all kinds of really great titles. I mean, Ratchet & Clank, they've got the exclusive titles, and that's why it sells so well. Xbox has really good titles, but they've only got like 3 or 4 at this point. They cut out about 10 years ago some of their big titles. They ended a lot of their franchises. So now you're basically just down to 3 or 4 main things you can play. Starfield means they can add another slot in there, which is much, much needed. And more importantly, if you're wondering what's the point of the Series X, this is it. This is a game that's designed to actually harness all of that power and really actually use it. It will be coming out for the Series X or S and PC, but I'm telling you, it's going to look the best on the Series X. So I'll keep you guys posted. I'll follow this. I'll see what's going on with it. There's still so much we really don't know. All we got is just little teaser stuff. We haven't even gotten a full-length trailer yet, just teaser stuff. And it is just nuts. So stick around, guys. I'll keep you posted whenever I see something neat. And I'm looking forward to seeing what this looks like.